Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nariah Guerin, and I wanted to make a quick slideshow presentation about the who, what, when, where, why, and how of the Metal Ball Run project. So, for the who, when, where, and what, on June 1st, I will begin my walk at the Venice Fishing Pier in LA County, California, all the way to Times Square, New York, juggling the entire way. Now, the first week is pretty straightforward. I'll just be staying in hotels, traversing LA County for about the first 100 miles, and then for the next 900 miles, I'm going to travel mostly through desert with my grandparents in their Class A motorhome. We're heading to Walsenburg, Colorado. That'll be the first major checkpoint of the trip. It'll be about 1,000 miles in past the desert, and if I can survive up to that point, then the rest should be pretty straightforward and non-life threatening. I think that a very common and reasonable question for people to ask about this trip is why. So, for the past couple of years, I've been watching highly motivated people skateboard the length of the United States, hike over 100 miles and drag, and walk the outline of the United States. That one is actually still ongoing by a name of Jack Cadis. As someone who has built a life around doing things the biggest, the craziest, the best that I possibly can, this is the kind of thing that speaks to me on an intuitive level. And this is something that I've been brainstorming since about July of last year. In doing all of this, aside from creating some really cool dad lore for my future child or children, I hope to share the joy of juggling with as many people as possible. This includes the social platforms, obviously, but I would like to also teach children in summer programs in schools across the country how to juggle along my route. In a digital age, I think it's more important now than ever to give people a reason to look away from their devices, because we don't have enough ways to meaningfully engage with our physical world. So let's talk about this logo that I've chosen. Why the triskelion? Why this particular piece of symbology? So spirals are one of the oldest symbols in human history and can be best used to describe the power of the human spirit. Humans evolve beyond the person that we were and the person that we've been, and we advance at every turn. However, in this analogy, I think that it's important to understand that a spiral is a three-dimensional force like a drill. So I think it's important to note that there is a very muddy written history over the triskelion and over spirals, and it's been known to represent a lot of different things. So this explanation is purely just what it means to me. One spiral represents the dreams of the fallen, the things that they have left unfinished, and the things that they have created that moved others. One spiral represents the hopes of those who will follow, the things they aspire to, and the things that they are moved to create because of the creations of others. And one spiral represents the creative process itself, the refinement of processes, the process of new practices, and the practice of the spirit of creation. To me, these spirals represent the trichotomy of past, present, and future as they pervade through the human spirit of creation. So why Metal Ball Run? Why is this the name? You may be aware that there is a movie from back in the day called The Cannonball Run, and there's another movie called Cannonball that predates that a little bit. It's about an unsanctioned cross-country car race to basically see how fast somebody can get from the East Coast to the West Coast. And then, if you are familiar with this show, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure installment number 7 is called Steel Ball Run, and it is about a cross-country horse race. This show starts with the line, "There is no failure worse than turning your back on adventure, to perish in bed untested, having never faced the impossible and carried the day." And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the vibe of this kind of journey project idea, then I don't know what else to tell you. So why did I choose the word metal for this ball run project? While my journey differs in that it is not actually a race, I do think that the spirit of adventure is what drives any person to challenge themselves, redefine their limits, and test their resolve. The adventure ahead of me will serve as the ultimate physical test of my mettle as a man. All right, so let's talk about the rules. There are rules involved with this trip, some more obvious than others. Rule number 1, if I am walking, I'm juggling. If I'm juggling, I'm walking. If I'm not juggling, I'm not walking. If I'm not walking, I don't have to juggle. So if I stop juggling, I have to stop walking if that means that there's any kind of distraction along the route, if somebody stops to talk to me, whatever. If I stop walking, I have to stop juggling. If I stop juggling, then I stop walking. But I'm not covering any distance while not juggling. If I drop, I'll pick it up, return to the spot that I dropped from, continue on. The exact spot that I stop for a given day will be the exact spot that I start from the next day. I'm going to be looking for gas stations, crossroads, landmarks, checkpoints that give an obvious spot to start and stop from so that I can make sure to be super consistent about that. I don't juggle while crossing the road. It's not safe. It might be fine 99 out of 100 times, but I'm going to cross a lot of roads on this trip, and I don't want to get hit by a car because I'm being distracted or negligent or whatever. So if I cross the road, I'm not juggling. If I get stopped by state or local police because I don't realize that I'm on a road that I'm not allowed to walk along and they drive me somewhere, I'm not going to backtrack, but I'll juggle in the squad car if they let me. And to make up for the travel increments lost in rules 5 and 6, I intend to do a victory lap around Central Park in New York City the day after I finish so that there can be a little bit better a sense of the mission being complete and not having gaps in between. So if you're watching this and you don't already, please follow me anywhere at Metal Ball Run, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, what have you. Buy some stuff off of metalballrun.com. Help me fundraise. Like, comment, subscribe, etc. Your support is much appreciated. Okay, bye.